The zombie apocalypse began this morning. My husband Tom and I were eating breakfast when the news broke. The news reporter on television didn't refer to it as a zombie apocalypse, but clearly that's what it was. The origin was identified immediately. A liquid-based virus had somehow gotten into the water supply. Those who drank the water and became infected would turn immediately. The contagion rate was off the charts. Apparently over 98% of people who drank the tainted water turned. Tom and I both drank water with breakfast, but apparently we were part of the lucky 2%. Tom was concerned that maybe the virus would take hold later in the day, but the newsman on TV was adamant that the infection and the change were immediate. Water was cut off to everyone, but apparently that was a case of too little too late. The highly infectious nature of this virus makes it impossible to contain. Those who are infected become paranoid and violent. They savagely attack others on sight, usually biting and clawing with malice. These monsters are ferocious. Unlike the zombies from movies and TV shows, they aren't slow, lumbering, brain-dead creatures. The real zombies retain their knowledge, and they can run and operate vehicles. The newsman even reported one zombie using a gun to shoot down his neighbors. The virus is spread through liquid being passed from one person to another. That means if someone comes in contact with any liquid from an infected person's body, they will be turned. Apparently blood, saliva, urine, semen, whatever the liquid is, will absorb into people's skin. So it isn't an open wound situation. This is a matter of infected liquid simply touching you. And from what the reporter said, the zombies are actively attempting to infect others. Some zombies were reported spitting and urinating on others with the intention of turning them. The images that we saw on TV before the broadcast was cut off were catastrophic. Cities were on fire. Hordes of zombies were running through the street, attacking anything that moved. The broadcast was cut off before they made any suggestions as to what we could do to protect ourselves, but from what we heard, it's unlikely that they could have given us any prudent advice. We live in a rural area on a farm. Our nearest neighbor is about half a mile down the road. Our house is on top of a hill and has a long driveway. We have a motion detector at the end of the driveway to alert us when someone is coming up to the house. When the alarm started sounding, I looked out the window and could see a fleet of vehicles coming up the drive. I stared out the window until they got close enough for me to see them well. It was them. It was the zombies. I could see the savage look on their faces. They were probably going door to door to kill everyone or infect them. Our only chance was to hide. We could have hidden in the house, but surely they would check every nook and cranny and eventually find us. But we have a barn. Perhaps they wouldn't think to check in there. Maybe when they saw the house was empty, they would assume that we weren't home and would go away. I felt like that was our only chance. We had to get to the barn without being seen. We snuck out the back door just as we heard them pounding on the front door. The barn was approximately 200 feet from the house. We bolted out the back door and darted toward the barn. Tom is faster than me and made it inside the barn slightly before I did. Just before entering the barn, I turned to see if we made it without being seen. A zombie was standing on our back porch. It was staring at me. I rushed into the barn and frantically explained to Tom that I had been spotted. We had to seal up the barn the best we could and try to keep them out. There are 2 doors to the barn. They are sliding metal doors that have wooden brace locks. It wouldn't be easy for them to get in. There was also a loft that we could climb up to if they penetrated the doors. I looked out a crack between the wood planks of the barn walls to see if they were coming. There they were, An army of zombies. At least 10 cars had surrounded our barn. The zombies were standing by the vehicles as if ready to charge. They were screaming out in fury. It was as if they were trying to speak to us, but their words had transformed into guttural growls. There was no escape. We had no chance. There were just too many of them. That's when I got an idea. Why should we wait here for them to attack us? Why don't we turn the tables on them? Why don't we take the initiative and attack first? How dare these zombies come to our home and assault us? I wanted to run out of that barn and tear them apart. I wanted to bite them, scratch them, spit in their faces, and piss all over them. I looked over at Tom. I didn't even have to say anything to him. I could tell he was thinking the same thing I was. I took in a deep breath, opened the door to the barn, and we charged. Zombie apocalypse outside the barn.
My name is Austin Baker. I'm the sheriff of a very small town in northern Tennessee. The virus broke out a few hours ago. It was in the water everywhere. My understanding is that it originated in Florida and has already worked its way up to Tennessee and beyond. That's how contagious this is. I don't consider myself a law enforcement officer. I'm a peace officer. Honestly, I don't see how this virus can be stopped or even contained, but it's my duty to protect the citizens of my little town, and that's what I'll do until my dying breath. I rounded up my deputies, and our mission was to go door to door to check on the townfolk. We'd advise the ones who were not infected to barricade themselves in their houses or join us. As for those who were infected, well, they'd have to be eliminated. The infected were easy to spot. Their faces were splotched with sores, their teeth were stained dark yellow, and their fingernails had turned black. It was spreading faster than I could imagine. We quickly realized that there was a better than 50-50 chance that any house whose door we knocked on would contain the infected. At one of the houses, an infected person spit on one of my deputies. He changed immediately. We eliminated him before he had a chance to spread the virus to anyone else. When we arrived at Tom and Tina's farmhouse, I had my fingers crossed. Tina was a good friend of my wife. I had hoped we had gotten there in time. When we knocked on the door, I could hear them running through the house. We busted the front door in, and I hurried out the back door. I saw Tina pausing to look at me before she rushed into the barn. We surrounded the barn with our vehicles, and my deputies and the townfolk who chose to help us all prepared themselves. I got on the bullhorn and pleaded with Tom and Tina to come out. I told them that if they were not infected, they had nothing to worry about. It was only a few minutes later when they exited the barn and charged us. Both of them were covered in sores and their fingernails were black. They were gnashing their hideous yellow teeth when we shot them down. From here, we'll move on to the next house, and the next. We'll do what we can while we can, but if I'm honest, I expect this will be the last day of all of our lives.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I'll be back soon with another scary story.